Well, now that I have ceremoniously declared our power transformer to be good, I went ahead and mounted it back on the chassis with these 4 screws here at the bottom. There's 2 on the other side, just like it. They're just little sheet metal screws. And the wires have been run down through the chassis, and this is them sticking out in the front of the chassis right here. So what we're going to do now, as you can see, almost everything up in this area is covered with orange now. All the wires have been put in. It's now time to, let me move this here a little bit out of our way. It's now time to start putting in the orange wires here as they connect up. You notice I came over so far right here and just so far right here, and that was it. Alright, first thing we're supposed to do according to the schematic is hook the red wires, the 2 red wires to pin 1 and pin 6 of the 2A5. Pin 1 and pin 6. So let's go ahead and get that done. Get the red wires hooked up first. Red's cool. You recall that I used a dot of white out between pin 1 and 7 of this tube right here, so I'd know which one was 1, so I could know where to start counting clockwise. Well, yeah, I did it another way over here. I just put the white out on the end of the tube pins, just right a little bit on top there and a little bit on top there. And over here I did it between the pins. It doesn't matter as long as white out really works great. It doesn't interfere with anything, and you put it right on the top there. There's no shorting problems, none of that stuff. It's kind of neat to, instead of having to constantly check around, because these pins really, the only thing that distinguishes the 1 and the 6 from the rest of the holes is that these 2 are larger. And it can be a pain because sometimes you can make a mistake, so mark them somehow, either by using a little dot between, the first and last pin, or you can just, mark the tops of them like I did there. Okay, let's move on. Enough of that. I'm going to go ahead and untape this bundle. I'm going to move these 2 red wires over, and I'm going to solder one right there, and solder one right there. The 2 red wires are hooked to pin 1 and 6. Alright, now we need to move on to the, let's do the green wires. These are your high voltage wires that hook into the rectifier, the 80 tube socket. Okay, the green wires are supposed to go to pin 2 and to pin 3. 2 and 3. Alright. Again, there's our dot right there. So that's pin 1, pin 2, and pin 3. 2 and 3. These are the 2 places for the green wires. They're next on the list. One more thing I wanted to remind you of, and that is after you've done your soldering, clean off those solder joints, get rid of that old flux and all that crap there. Try to get as much of it off as you can. Some of it you're not going to be able to get off. It seems to be impregnated in the metal, but do your best, okay? Just do your best. The next 2 wires we're going to hook up are the brown wires, and the brown wires, let me get the camera over here where you can see, the 2 brown wires hook to pins 1 and 4. And from pin 4, there's another wire that goes over and connects to, come on, over here to the speaker socket. Now that wire I've already got in. As you can see, it's highlighted in orange. I'll show you that in a minute. So hook up the brown wires to pin 1 and 4 of the rectifier tube. You'll note on the schematic I wrote red wire right here coming out of the speaker plug. And that red wire runs back to the this electrolytic capacitor, C18, and it also runs over to pin 4 on the rectifier tube. So let's find that one. That's this red wire right there, okay? Comes off of pin 4 on the rectifier tube, goes over to here where it connects to the speaker socket down there, and then there's a wire from the speaker socket out to the capacitor right there, the electrolytic. That's the positive. Nothing to it. The next wire we're going to hook up is this little short black one you see right here. Where do you think that thing is? What do you think that is? Huh? Little short black. We've done the red, we've done the green, we've done the brown. The brown is now hooked up, you know, like it's supposed to be. Here and here. And what do you think that black one is? It is the center tap. The center tap. The center tap right there. It's black, it's short, and it goes straight to ground. Straight to ground. So what I'm going to do, you see a little grounding lug I have right there that I prepared? I don't know if you can make that out or not. Let me get down there close. Come on, camera, focus. I know you can do it. There we go. That little grounding lug right there is connected to this post that's hooked to the chassis. That little short black wire is going to bend down over. It's going to go underneath this terminal board and come out and get soldered to that tab right there. Alright, let's wrap this thing up. The last two sets of wires that we have to connect are the black wires on the primary. Now, I've colored a little blue dot right there, and I put a little blue dot up there. The wire coming out, I have one, well, let's start with the bottom one. I have one wire coming out of the power transformer, and it goes out and it will hook to one side of the power cord, and that's where the connection will be. Now that's this. Get this thing focused at. That would be this wire right here. Okay? This wire right here comes out of the hole from the power transformer. And let me get the light over here a little better. And I have it connected to an unused terminal on this terminal board. That unused terminal, that's just the only wire connected there, is this black one that comes out of the power transformer hole right there. When the power cord comes in, it's going to come in through this hole here, and one side of the power cord is going to solder to that unused terminal. And that way I'll have my connection down the wire and into the primary of the transformer. Now that takes care of that side, okay? There's that little unused terminal right there. Now the other side comes out, and it comes over and it connects to one side of this capacitor, C17 to ground, and it also connects to one side of the on-off switch. Okay? On the side of the on-off switch. Now that wire is, let me get it over here so we all on one sheet of music here. That wire would be this one right here. Okay? And you say, well, I don't see any on-off switch there. Well, what I had here was another unused terminal. I had an unused terminal on this end of the strip and another one here on this end of the strip. So I just went ahead and soldered the other black wire coming out of the transformer hole right here. I soldered it to there. And then I also soldered the capacitor, that C17, from here down underneath here and over to this ground terminal right there. I'll show you that capacitor here. You can see it underneath the board running over there. See that yellow capacitor down there? You bet you underneath that blue one? You bet. Alright. But you still don't see the on-off switch. Where's the connection to the on-off switch? Piece of cake. What I did was take a brown wire. I took a wire and I soldered it to the other side of this. Let me see. She comes down around. And she comes down around. She comes around. And she solders up on the back side of this right here, and it goes over to this terminal on the on-off switch. Okay, that's the brown wire. Now the other side of the brown, now we've just connected the black to the capacitor, and we just connected it via the brown wire to the on-off switch. Now the other side of the on-off switch, I found out I had another unused terminal right here. I said, well, isn't that interesting? So what I did was take a wire from that side of the switch, ran it down underneath all this stuff, and just hooked it to this unused terminal here. There's the brown wire coming up that runs to that on-off switch connector right there. So here's what's going to happen. When my power cord comes through the hole, one side is going to go over and solder to this terminal right here. The other side is going to go in the opposite direction. It's going to go over and solder to this connector right here. And then I'll have a complete circuit. Now I'm going to hook up my multimeter and show you that I have a complete circuit. Let me get that done. I've got one lead of my multimeter connected to that lead right there, that terminal right there where the brown wire comes out and runs over to the on-off switch here. And I've got the other multimeter lead connected to this terminal that goes down into the transformer. Now, if everything works right, all I have to do is turn this switch on right here, and the needle should go and then back, and then back. As soon as I turn it on, turn it off. Let's watch her, see what happens. Look at that. Look at that. Now come on, come on. I've got it on the R times 1 scale. What we're doing is reading the continuity of the primary winding. Well, there it is. I mean, it just can't get any easier. Piece of cake, right? Okay, I've got a couple of things left I need to do underneath the chassis. I need to put the insulator, that plastic insulator I made, under here. I also need to take some heat shrink and kind of heat shrink this down a little bit. I haven't done that yet, and it needs to be done. And I also need to come up with a rubber grommet for this hole. Of all the grommets I've got, I cannot find one that fits. That's going to be a 9/16. But I have to put an order in the radio days anyway, so I'll just go ahead and order that one. It's going to be a 9/16 by a 16th of an inch thick. So let's go flip this baby back over and see what else we have to do. Next time we're going to go ahead and install those two RF coils that go here, T1, T2, and we're going to hook up all the wires and get them out of our way. They're starting to bug me. I want to get them shortened down, soldered up, so they'll look really cool once they get all hooked up. We'll put the insulators underneath each of those also. And then if we have time, we'll go ahead and hook up this little, dial tuning gear, and then we'll hook up we'll go ahead and put this on there, our little dial holder, and we'll put in the lights, the dial lights that go in through each hole, and run the wires down to the bottom and connect them to the band switch. Hopefully we'll get that all done. And if we don't get it all done, then we'll just get what we can done. Trying to keep the videos a little bit short. I really don't like 20-25 minute videos. They bug me. It's a personal thing. Some people I know like long videos. I got a friend of mine that watches my videos. He says he wishes they were longer. So anyway, by the way, in the very near future, we're going to have a pretty cool video. But for now, we're going to stick with what we're doing right here. So until next time, this is John.